presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Their competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound. Up and in. 1 point more to go.
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field, back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
We're going to do that. Joey Mack back with you. Thanks to Ryan Milano filling in for me yesterday. A lot to talk about. Record-breaking weekend for Duck baseball. A good weekend for Oregon softball, even with a couple losses. I want to break that down. Programming note, normally Melissa Lombardi joins us on a Tuesday. That's her regular slot. But with spring break, the Ducks are actually practicing at the Jane in the morning this week. So we're actually going to talk with Coach Lombardi live on the show tomorrow before rivalry weekend up in Corvallis for Duck softball. Elsewhere, Josh Charlton is going to join us today. Josh became the program record holder for most combined wins in an Oregon men's tennis uniform this past weekend with a doubles victory. We're going to talk with him about that. He is one of the easiest guys to root for ever. That's on the show today. Also, some of my thoughts on Tanner Smith. You heard the full review over the weekend of all the red ink that is in all of our record books. But I've got a couple thoughts on Tanner Smith, and it's not just about what Tanner has done in his career. He's got some individual season records already under his belt as well. But thinking about the guys whose records he's breaking can really contextualize what Tanner has done for Oregon baseball in his career. And he has a really good chance of not just breaking every modern era program record, but actually every program record, most notably home runs. He's now 4 shy of the record for home runs in an Oregon uniform, and that dates back to the 70s with Guy Krause, names like that are sitting atop the career leaderboards for Oregon baseball. So some notes on that coming up. And it is Oregon match game event tournament day. I've tried to figure out the right way to phrase this every time we have a golf tournament at Eugene Country Club. The Ducks are in action today. We'll tell you about that over at ECC. And what else do we have today? Oh, just another top 10 projection for a Duck in the NFL draft. Might be, again, multi-years in a row where the Ducks have a top 10 draft pick. Will be pretty cool. And it's Athletic Director Tuesday, and Deputy Athletic Director Eric Roedl is here. Hi, Eric.
Hey, Joey.
That's a good quarter zip. Well done today.
Thanks. Appreciate it. That's high praise coming from you.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but I am a quarter zipman. Like, I love a good quarter zip. I feel that they are the most versatile of all of the Oregon uniform that we all have. Your thoughts?
Absolutely. Pooh and his team take good care of us and give us, a nice little selection to work from.
They do. Aaron Wasson was on the show, actually, just a little while ago, and we were talking about some of the equipment processes. And I have to tell you, Eric, you'll think this is funny. I got asked an equipment question related to baseball over the weekend, and I already have had to add. Pooh was on like 2 weeks ago on the show, and I've already got a list of like 3 or 4 questions to ask him that people have asked me that I don't know the answer to. So it's on the horizon, believe me. The surplus sale is coming up in May, and that's when Pooh will be on again, and I've already got a long list. How often do you have equipment things like pop into your mind? You've watched a lot of sports in your career.
Yeah, well, it's certainly more top of mind here than it's been anywhere else, just given the brand, the unique partnership with Nike, and kind of how Oregon's differentiated itself over the years. And I work closely with Pooh and his team, and they do outstanding work supporting all of our coaches and student athletes and, really getting our brand out there front and center. Whenever I'm having conversations with donors or people outside the department, Pooh's known as the guy who's got the coolest job in college athletics.
Yeah.
With all the toys he gets to play with down there.
That's true. Also a difficult job because everybody wants the toys.
Absolutely.
Right?
So you got to know how to safeguard all that.
Yeah, he is the gatekeeper. That's true. Maybe this is a good pivot then, because I did want to talk with you about basketball season, reviewing, Eric. And, the NIT isn't the tournament that you want to be in necessarily, but when you get a chance to go on a run in the NIT, it can springboard you into next year. We've seen that for a lot of teams in the past with both the men's and the women's NIT. And Pooh's a guy who's a big part of turning around an event to host a championship like this, isn't he?
Yeah, so, a lot goes into hosting championships, and, when you're in the NCAA tournament, you're going out on the road, and, you're playing in a neutral site venue, and somebody else is managing all that. When you're in the NIT or the WNIT, you're going to put in bids and try to give your programs the best chance you can to be successful and make a run in the tournament. And, we did a nice job of that this year. I think Pooh and our team did over at the arena, did a great job of creating an environment for our student athletes, for our fans, to keep the season going.
Eric, there's also the logistic piece. I'm glad you brought up the arena staff, because there's a lot that happens in order to put on an event. And then also there's concerts and other shows that are on their calendar. The arena staff has had to do a lot in the last month, haven't they?
Yeah, it's a multi-purpose venue. We're bringing in outside concerts, shows, and obviously the top priority is always our teams and their practice times and their competition schedules, and trying to be flexible and nimble. We were even having a conversation earlier this week about potential conflicts with home basketball games and hosting volleyball NCAA championships.
There you go.
There's always a lot of things happening around scheduling at the arena.
And so scheduling is everybody's favorite topic, right? That's what we always want to talk about. I'm a planner, so I can only imagine the amount of calendars that have I ever shown you the color coding and how crazy I am? Have you seen this?
No, but I believe it.
Yeah, see all the different colors?
That's your model.
Right, but my point here is I can only imagine this is just for me, and it's a little wild. The color coding for something like the arena, the Mashofsky Center, all the practice facilities. I actually mean this I say this half jokingly, but I'm kind of being serious. That is a big part of resource management and what you do, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll bring Mike Duncan and Devin Shea and Ginger Schultz on sometime, and they'll walk you through their whole event office operation and all that goes into making sure that we're maximizing the utilization of all of our facilities.
Is the Mashofsky Center still the most used facility?
Yeah, especially this time of year when programs are trying to get work in, and it's we got great golfing weather today out there.
Yeah.
So you're trying to provide as much utilization of those facilities as you can, especially the Mo Center.
Right. Eric Roedl joining us, Deputy Athletic Director. Okay, I have a number of things to cover. Men's basketball season in review, Eric. It can be a springboard into next year. That's what we're hoping for, anyway.
Yeah, it was a tough year overall. A lot of injuries. It was. I think it was hard for the program to really sustain momentum throughout the year. They had some real bright spots and times where it seemed like things were really coming together, and then they kind of hit a little bit of a bump in the road. So I know that was frustrating for our staff and for our student athletes, but the guys played hard all year. They had a nice little run toward the end of the regular season, and we're sitting in pretty good position in the NIT, and we're able to host a few games there. And it's definitely a springboard, and now the coaching staff is, they turn their attention to recruiting and what's going to happen with our current roster and really positioning ourselves for next year. But, we definitely appreciate all the support that our men's and women's basketball programs got all season long, and then into the postseason and giving the kids an opportunity to go out and keep competing and represent the university.
I want to say a lot of people have been asking me in the last week, okay, so what's the roster going to look like? Who's going to be back? What are the Ducks going to do with the transfer portal? I do a show every day, and I still can't keep up with it because that's just how fast college athletics rosters are changing right now. It's sort of the new norm, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's a lot more fluid, we'll say, Joey. I mean, we'll talk spring game too. I mean, you're going to see over 30, 35 new players out there in football this year. So, with the portal, with immediate transfer eligibility, you're seeing a lot more movement with our student athletes, and our coaches are doing a really nice job of navigating a complicated landscape.
This has been a topic of conversation, I feel like, for anytime one of the corner office occupants like yourself come on the show, like the state of college athletics is the most fluid that it's ever been. You and I have talked about this before. Do you foresee some of it calming down, Eric? I mean, or is it starting to sort itself out as more conversations get had? You see how things are impacting the student-athlete experience? I don't know. Just your thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's going to continue to evolve. There's a lot of things, a lot of dynamics in play right now. But, yeah, anytime you have significant change, you kind of see, a lot of movement, and then you kind of hopefully will kind of recalibrate at some point with rosters and with student athletes transferring. But I think that's part of, modern era athletics that we're in right now, and student athletes have that opportunity to make sure that they're situated, academically, athletically, with a coaching staff that they feel is going to provide them with the best opportunities, and that's just the world we live in.
That's true. Well, so you talked about the spring game, so I've got my roster that's already a little bit out of date for Oregon football. I don't know about you, Eric, but when the numbers change, that's the hardest on the broadcaster. Like when a student athlete wears one number for 3-4 years, maybe 2 years even, then the number changes. There are some that just stick in your mind. Do you have those guys? Like they just stick in your mind that they're always the same number even after they change?
Yeah, I always have to make those adjustments.
Okay,
from one year to the next. It's tough. I'll go out to watch some practice, especially in the preseason,
right.
And oh, okay, that's who that is.
That's right. I do the same thing. Okay, I'm glad that I'm not the only one because I'm like constantly reaching for the back pocket, pulling out the roster. Like, okay, wait, that. And oh, by the way, and that guy gained like 10 pounds. Like I do that all the time, right? But that's what the spring game and what spring football. It's spring break right now. That actually going to be back practicing next week for spring football. But this is a fun time of year. You talk about a springboard. That's what the spring can be.
Yeah, they got a couple great practices in before finals week and now spring break, and they'll come back and get back after it. And before we know it, April 29th will be here, spring game, and I think I already saw the weather, 75 and sunny.
That's right.
That day.
That's right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And we're expecting to fill up the stadium. I mean, that's our goal. We want to fill Autzen. We want to have a great atmosphere. We'll have lots of recruits there. It'll be a great celebration of Oregon football, like you said, a springboard into next fall. And it's also a great day to, support the community through Food for Lane County and, association with the military. And we've got some other things going on that day. We'll have some entertainment. We've got the baseball game.
Yep.
So the kickoff for football will be 1 o'clock, and then baseball, Arizona State, will be at 3 o'clock. So great opportunity to come over to Autzen Complex and have a lot of fun.
Yeah, here's what the spring game is on the practice schedule, if you will. It's practice number 14. There's some designed scrimmage periods, and it's in Autzen Stadium in full pads. That's what it'll say on like the practice schedule. But then there's the celebration aspect that you just alluded to, right? Like that's what the spring game is. And I should say it's a huge, huge opportunity for football to celebrate with fans, but also it's a big recruiting weekend. Like we can't shy away from that, can we?
Yeah, it's huge. And, we want to get our community, our fan base as excited as we can about the spring game and really show our visitors and people that are, watching us, whether it be on TV nationally or the recruits that we have in here, what a special place this is.
Yeah. 75 and sunny.
There we go.
Maybe 78 and sunny. Who's to know? I mean, 1 o'clock and then, baseball. Talking about baseball, I do want to get into that. We're going to get a quick timeout. Deputy Athletic Director Eric Roedl is here. Good weekend for the Ducks on the baseball diamond. We're going to talk about that. I also have a couple fun questions for you. So, we've warmed you up now. These are the hard-hitting ones coming up. All right?
Bring it on, Joey.
Spring break themed when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio and Deputy Athletic Director Eric Roedl joining us for Athletic Director Tuesday. We talked about baseball. You and I were just even discussing during the break, like, Tanner Smith is on an absolute tear. He's already set the program record for hits. He's going to set the program record for basically every offensive category that matters except hit by pitches. Aaron Payne will never lose that record. He got hit by 73 pitches in his career. Tanner could get hit by a pitch in every game the rest of the season, and he still wouldn't catch Aaron Payne. That's a record that will
sounds
never
like
fall.
A record you don't necessarily want to break.
I don't.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, the rules are a little different. I know I've talked with a lot of people about that, but yeah, I mean, a home run in 5 consecutive games for Tanner Smith, like, and what a guy to set all these records. You know, there are some big names atop those lists, Eric, with Tanner. What an easy guy to root for. That's the kind of guy that you want setting your program records.
Yeah, he's a program guy. He's been a leader really going back to 2019 when he got here, and as a freshman, you know, he assumed a big role, a big part of this team right off the bat, and he hasn't looked back. You know, he's been through a coaching staff change, lots of different teammates over the years, and you know, he's just kind of been very consistent and hardworking guy, and you know, he's delivered for the program, you know, on and off the field. He's just been a great kid to have around.
Yeah, just so easy to root for, and I hope that we can stay on Tanner Smith record watch all season, right? That means that records are falling, runs are being scored. That's a good thing. It was a good weekend at PK Park, where it is always sunny and 75.
Yeah. No, it was a little chilly at times out there, but it was great to see, you know, the bats come alive. I think, you know, the team's kind of working through this early part of the year, and we've kind of had some ups and downs along the way. Lots of young arms that we're relying on with some of the injuries that we've had with pitching, and you know, some of our guys that were more experienced and had high expectations coming in might have started a little slower, but it really seems like offensively we're starting to, you know, hit our stride.
Yeah.
A lot of balls were flying out of the park. This is a really exciting group to watch. You got a guy like Riku Nishida, who's, you know, he can jack one out of the park.
2 of them
right?
this year.
And, you know, just he's a disruptor, you know, and, you know, we've got some big bats as well, and just outstanding athletes in the field with some of the plays that they're making out there.
So here's a fun note for you, people like me that like to track the stats throughout a season. Last year at this point through this many games, Oregon hit as many home runs exactly as the Ducks have hit this year. Well, last year was a program record for home runs in a season. I mean,
and
trends well.
Yeah, and this year you could argue that, you know, we've had some lulls.
That's right.
Along the way. So I think that speaks well for what's ahead of this group.
Yeah, the spring break trip is going to be to Tucson. The Ducks heading to Arizona for really a critical Pac-12 series with the way that things stack up and some of the projections the rest of the way. This is a big weekend for baseball heading to Arizona. Continuing with Eric Roedl, you oversee baseball, you oversee a ton of things. One of the other things that you oversee are the tennis programs. And coming up on the show today, Josh Charlton, the new program leader in combined wins, so both singles and doubles victories. Josh Charlton broke that record this weekend. Pretty cool to see that happen for him.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, like Tanner, for baseball, Josh is someone who's been here now. I think he's in his 5th year, and he's just been a steady presence all the way through with our guys, and works really hard. Very dedicated tennis player. You'll hear more from Josh about his aspirations, but outstanding singles and doubles player. One of the top doubles players in the country. Him and Quinn Vandecastile, form a great team that have a chance to really do some great things here this year. And he's just been a glue guy for our tennis program.
Every time there's a doubles tournament, they're always successful in it. Beyond the doubles point and the matches that they play for Oregon as part of this spring season, like in the fall, the runs that they've made, it's been really fun to watch. Like arguably some of the most successful wins and probably successful runs for any doubles pair that we've ever seen at the University of Oregon.
Definitely one of our best doubles teams, and they made NCAAs last year. They should make it again this year, and again, with the right draw, they've got an opportunity to go down there and do some cool things. As a team, they're right in the thick of it. They've got some big matches coming up. They've got Santa Barbara at noon Thursday, I think.
That's right.
Which is a top 25 team. A big opportunity for them, and then hitting the road to go see the Huskies on Saturday. So big week for men's tennis.
You don't say. Big week when men's tennis plays the Huskies. It's a big week.
Oh yeah.
Nils Schelander will probably, I think, come here into the studio with Josh in just a little while, and I almost guarantee you that you'll be able to hear him off the mic discussing how big this weekend is. There's no love lost with Oregon-Washington on the tennis courts, which makes it fun. That's what rivalries are all about. I love it personally. I think it's a lot of fun, Eric.
No doubt.
I want to talk a little bit more about women's tennis too. You're overseeing that program. Give us the update.
Yeah, they've gotten off to a nice start. I think they're 10-4, maybe 3-1 in the Pac-12, and right around top 40 in the country. So they're kind of established a good foundation for a run to make the NCAAs. They're going to see the Washingtons this weekend as well, and it's a fun group. If you love tennis, men's or women's, they're great kids to come out and watch compete. It's a high level. It's not far off watching professional level tennis, and our women are, they've got a good mix of experience and some younger players, and they're playing great doubles, which is so important if you want to win those close matches against great teams. And I know Coach Nagel's got to be excited about that, given her background as a doubles player. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do.
You mentioned the fact that they're right around top 40. Eric, it's been interesting for me to see when I look, for example, at the schedule and like the rankings. Feels like the Pac-12 in women's tennis this year is really grouped in that like 30 to 60 range. Like I know that speaks to the depth of the conference, but maybe it says a few other things about the league too.
Well, there's always going to be strength at the top, within the top 10, the top 15 with Stanford and USC and UCLA. But yeah, when you go 9, 10 deep, I'm not sure that the number at 10 maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody's up there in the top 50, top 60. There's no weekends or matches off. And what that does also is it creates great opportunity for you to go out and compete and get those wins that you need based off the way the ITA and the NCAA ranking formulas work to go out and qualify.
Right. All right, now on to the more fun things as we continue with Eric Roedl. The off the beaten path, out of left field, whatever description you want. All right, you ready?
Let's go.
Okay, I've been asking everybody, as you've heard, for some dad advice updates. Okay, he's starting to crawl, starting to figure it out now. He's 7 months old, and we're on the horizon. Eric, what do I need to know?
Well, how many levels are there in your house?
Multiple.
So you need to have some of those apparatuses to block your stairs.
Okay.
You need
good advice.
You need to prevent him from self-harm by keeping him on one level.
Yeah.
Put some pads on some of the sharp corners, or if
Okay.
you've got like glass or rock or that kind of stuff in your house. This is all about preservation now, Joey.
Okay.
You're trying to keep him from hurting himself. But
Okay.
other than that, let him go.
Yeah.
Let him figure it out.
I'm a big believer in rub some dirt on it when he gets hurt kind of a thing. Like fall over, get back up, those sorts of things. It's got to be the athlete aspect. But in any case, the only thing I'm really concerned about, we have a sunken living room. So, like, I'm first like, oh, natural playpen. Then I'm like, oh, no, he's going to climb those stairs right away, isn't he?
He's going to try to do anything he can to freak you guys out.
Okay. Good advice. All right. Good advice. Okay. So.
But that's okay. Like you said, you take some lumps.
Yeah.
Just prevent the real big ones.
Yeah, a couple bruises are fine, is what I've understood, right? Like they need that, right? Helps them grow. Okay, it's spring break also, and I started thinking about this because somebody asked me the best spring break trip that I have ever been on. I don't know about you. I never went on spring break trips. So now I don't even know how to answer that question. So I'm just asking everybody that question. Do you have like a great spring break trip at some point in your life that you're just like, that's the bar?
Yeah. So I never went on, there's Josh. I never went on spring break, kind of growing up. When I was in college playing tennis, we went on a couple spring break trips that were fun. We hit Bermuda one year.
Wow,
we hit Hilton Head, South Carolina one year. Those are fun.
All right.
And now that, I'm working, spring break's just another week.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. And I feel like I never properly took advantage of it when I was in school maybe because I was also working. So somebody asked me and they did not. I'll just put it this way: the answer that I gave about not really having one, they really didn't like. So now I'm trying to figure out if I'm at fault here for not having a good memory.
The best spring break, though, for us, is a run in March Madness.
That's right. That's absolutely true. It's usually
whether
the Final Four.
the men or the women, making a deep run in March Madness. That's what spring break is all about.
Actually, there you go. Best spring break that I've had so far was when Oregon men's basketball went to Louisville. My wife was able to come with me because she's a teacher. She was on spring break. See, this is why I asked this question. Eric Roedl, thanks for being here, buddy. Deputy Athletic Director, what did we miss? Anything else fans should know?
No, it's just a great time of year, a lot going on in the spring, and let's just get out and support the Ducks.
All right. What should I talk to Josh about?
Oh, Josh is easy to talk to. You guys will cover a lot of ground, and hardworking guy, and a lot of fun to be around.
Good. Well, you don't have Quinn this time, so that means you're alone in the hot seat. All right. Josh Charlton coming up. Eric, thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Joey.
the time. When we come back, the new record holder for career combined wins. Josh Charlton joins us on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Now's the time to imagine yourself in a new Toyota, like Tundra. Go for a spin, enjoy some off-roading, or build your kids that treehouse you promised them. Hey, they deserve it.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends April 4th.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
Now's the time to imagine yourself in a new Toyota, like Tundra. Go for a spin, enjoy some off-roading, or build your kids that treehouse you promised them. Hey, they deserve it.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends April 4th.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
To your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. a teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. From the guy who oversees the entire tennis operation at the University of Oregon, Eric Roedl, now to one of the student athletes that makes jobs like this fun, Josh Charlton's here. What's going on, man?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Well, last time you were here, we were talking with the doubles pair that has won maybe more big doubles matches than any pair in the history of Oregon tennis. How much pride do you take in that? Let's start there with just you as a teammate with Quinn.
Yeah, no, I remember we came on the show, what would have been?
Last spring.
Yeah, last spring now. Yeah, time flies. But, yeah, no, it's awesome to have such a good connection with a teammate like Q.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we've got something pretty special going on. You know, we've had a couple seasons together now, and I felt like we've just kept growing as a pair. And right now, like, it's seeing him just develop as well, because he's a couple years younger than me. And just seeing how far he's come as well on the doubles court and on the singles court as well. And yeah, it's pretty special just to have a good connection and perform well together, you know, at the end of the day.
I start there because this is a new program record. You got your 184th combined victory with that doubles win on Friday. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you remember all 184?
It's a good question, actually. But, no. I remember a lot of them, but you know, if I thought hard and long about it, I'm sure I could maybe. Yeah. We went through the schedule, but no, there's been a lot. It's been a crazy journey, you know. And when they did the update and 184, I was like, wow, you know, it's a lot. You know, it's been a good ride, long journey. So was very happy to get it.
And I think it's a cool record to recognize because, so we were actually talking about how you and Tanner Smith, it's a record-breaking weekend, right, for the both of you.
Yeah.
And Tanner's atop a bunch of different categories in baseball, for example. What I love about getting a chance to talk about somebody who's won a bunch in singles and a bunch in doubles, you're not doing this all by yourself, right? Like, that's kind of why I start with the doubles. Like, that's how cool is that aspect of this record, that it's a combined victory total?
Exactly. It's super special. And, you know, like, for sure, like, there's been a few media things go out, and it's my face on the poster and stuff, but there's been, more than half of those wins I've been with someone.
Right.
You know, so it hasn't just been a solo effort. It's been a huge team effort, and lucky enough, I've had good doubles partners, you know, good teammates, and you know, a lot of credit goes to the boys I'm playing with, you know, so a lot of respect for them.
Well, let me then be also the first to say that you're a pretty good teammate if you're getting to all of those wins. So congratulations. Truly.
Thank you.
Big accomplishment. If I told you when you were 17 years old that you were going to win 184 and then however many more come after this conversation, what would you have said?
Oh, I would have said you're crazy.
Really?
You know, like, honestly, like, it's a fine line because, growing up in Traralgon, Australia, small town, like, not many athletes come out of there, you know, and you know, small little community, but you know, so coming to the University of Oregon was massive deal, you know, and I'm on the big stage, that sort of thing, and but I did always back myself, you know. I always freshman year, Thomas Laurent, Oregon tennis icon, actually broke the record for most singles win.
That's right.
In his career, and so I saw that, and straight away I was like, you know, I wanted to achieve this, and so to get it was, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have my eye on it for a long time.
Cool.
But no, I was very happy to achieve it.
I appreciate that you said that, because you are such a team-oriented guy. Like, I hear that about you, I can just feel that about you, but the fact that you still hold that sort of bar for yourself, you know, where does that competitiveness come from? Like, have you always been that way?
Oh yeah, I've always been that way. I think actually me and Coach Spence and Coach Nils, we actually joke about it a lot, and how far I've come as a person in a way, just because when I was younger as a freshman I was tough to be around, like very competitive, didn't like anything going against me, and I didn't really deal with it that well. So I think when it comes to growing as a teammate and as a person, I've come a long way. But grew up in a very competitive household. Like dad was a tennis pro, and now he's always been my head tennis coach growing up. My sister is a great netballer, if you're familiar with that sport in Australia. And she was always, doing great things. So I was always the younger child looking up, trying to knock her off the ledge a little bit. But yeah, so I think that's where the competitiveness comes from.
I have to tell you, so in talking with people around you before we had you on the show, everyone said, hey, you got to ask about his dad. And just the way that your dad molded. You're smiling as I say this because, I'm sure that, having your dad as a coach, I've talked to so many athletes that can be a tough thing. Yeah. But also, it's you look back, and it's probably like one of the more special things you think about.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny. Yeah, if you met my dad, you would realize right away why people joke about him. He's the biggest guy in the room. Always wants to have a laugh. But yeah, growing up, him being my head coach, there was always like tough times and a few clashes and stuff like that naturally. But I think we both, I've got a lot of respect for him, and I think he sees the game like one of the best people I've seen see the game of tennis. So I've got a lot of respect for him in that sense, and I'm happy to take the criticism when it comes, because I think that's a key part of improving and getting better.
That's a really interesting, perspective, because I feel like everybody has a relationship like that with their parents a little bit. You hate it because sometimes they see things in yourself that you wish no one else saw, and all those things, but it made you who you are, right? I mean, how much credit do you give to that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, huge amounts of credit go to my parents. I've got like good contrast as well with Dad being so involved in tennis, and my mum never playing sports ever. So she's just she would come watch one of my biggest tennis matches or something and just not even really follow the score too much, or where Dad's very invested, and we're working on stuff all the time. So
he's got notes that go deeper than
he's taking stats at every one of my matches. Right. He's got the clipboard out, but no. So it's always been a good contrast, with someone super involved and then Mum as well taking a little bit of a back seat. But yeah, a lot of credit to them for sure.
Josh Charlton joining us. Oregon men's tennis now combined victory leader in the Oregon record book, and here's to like 30 more.
Hope so. Yeah,
that sounds about right.
Yeah, yeah.
I was trying to think like the amount when I started adding it up. Like there are still a lot more victories potentially in front of you. So it's nice to be able to do this in March rather than in like June.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Yeah, that's got to feel good.
But yeah, no, it definitely feels good. Where sort of takes the pressure off a little bit too, because I was. As I said, I was keeping track of it a little bit.
Knew a little bit,
so I knew I wasn't sure exactly, but I knew I was in the vicinity. So, and of course, there's pressure. You feel a bit of pressure, and like definitely sneaking out that doubles win against a top, I think the 26 ranked doubles team in the country. There's never been an easy match. I was saying to one of the boys earlier, like with 184 wins, there hasn't been a single win that's been easy, So it's been good, but yeah, good to get the record, I guess, and then focus on the team as well, because we've got a lot of important matches coming up that we need to take care of.
Well, I want to ask you about that, and before we get a timeout, he said that he's here all day. Everybody, by the way, he's like, I'm good for the day. So it's nice to be on spring break, isn't it?
It is nice. It is nice.
We timed that well with this, didn't we?
Yeah.
I asked you if you remembered all 184 of the wins. Do you remember the losses more?
Yeah, I'm big on that actually. I take the losses. I like to think I take them a bit better these days, but it's never nice, But yeah, there's been a few losses that have sticked in my mind the whole time. There's one the boys might have a giggle about, but Old Dominion sophomore year, I had an absolute meltdown. Eric was actually there for that, but we won't talk about that one too much.
See, but that's why you've won 184, because you remember stuff like that. All right, we're going to get a timeout. I've got a few more things to ask you about moving forward. It is Husky Week, in addition to UCSB Week for men's tennis, by the way. Back with more. Josh Charlton joining us on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is an important message from the Mine Safety and Health Administration. Mining fatalities, accidents, and injuries are preventable. Taking a minute to approach your task safely can protect you and your fellow miners from injury and death. Staying alert and focused can keep you safe. Do it safe. Do it right. Whether buckling a seatbelt or securing equipment, these quick safety measures can prevent injuries and fatalities. Take time. Save lives. For more resources, visit MSHA.gov.
Farming is dangerous. There's dangers all around us.
We go through safety training and try and do these things to make sure accidents don't happen.
You don't want to hit a gas pipe because that's your life. The other part of it is if you hit certain things, you're liable for it.
Farm Safe 811 starts with you. Always call 811 and wait for any underground lines to be marked.
Always keep safety in the back of your mind. Just stay humble.
For more information, go to farmsafe811.org.
When a record gets broken, it gives us a little bit of something extra to talk about on the show. As we welcome you back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Josh Charlton is here with us, and we were just discussing during the break, and I wanted to ask you about this. So 184 victories in both singles and doubles. That's a program record for combined wins. You said you kind of were aware, you had a goal because you're competitive. And how about the fact that in your sport growing up, you were always individualized, right? Tennis is an individual sport. And yet, it's a team aspect when you're here in college. You talked about how you've grown as a teammate, and how did you go about doing that when you decided, okay, I'm going to go play tennis in college, and there is a team aspect? That had to be such a mental flip for you to make.
Yeah, definitely. When you talk about the sport of tennis and growing up, it's completely individual.
Yeah.
So so to actually come to college and be in a team, it's pretty special, but it definitely takes some adjusting. Mentality-wise and that sort of thing, and being a team player and putting yourself, putting the team before yourself as well is super important. Sacrifice and that sort of thing. Because growing up, you're the only person, right. So you got to do what's best for you. You got to put yourself forward, and a lot of tennis players I think can be quite hard to deal with, and I feel like a lot of tennis players can be arrogant and that sort of thing, but that's not going to fly in a team environment.
Interesting.
So, so I think just learning and seeing definitely the upperclassmen are always the best at it, I think, because they've had the most experience and they've learnt the most. So, definitely just getting, enjoying having teammates as well, because tennis can be a very lonely sport. Yeah. So then to actually be with, say, for example, I lose on the weekend, but we still pull out the win.
Right.
That doesn't happen outside of college tennis,
That's right.
So it's definitely special to be a part of, and I think Oregon have a very good culture going, so it's fun to be a part of.
When you were growing up, were there other competitors that you would talk to in not the I'm always going to beat you way? Did you ever trade notes with anybody growing up, or did even that change when you got to college?
Yeah, it's a good question. Growing up, we had say for example, Dad was coaching a couple other guys my age as well. So we're growing up, we're traveling to tournaments together and that sort of thing, and we're always kind of keeping our cards close to our chest.
Right. But what if you play each other?
But yeah. Exactly. Because what if you play each other? But I think by the end, we got so close, we did help each other and give each other advice, and and it was awkward if we did play each other in a tournament or a final or something like that. But it's just something that we got over a bit. But definitely coming to a team environment where we've got a whole team. We got we have 10 guys in our team. Fluctuates sometimes, but from year to year. But having 8 guys when we're in the practice facility today,
right?
And one of the boys' attitudes isn't on. You're going to hear it, or if my attitude's not on, we hold each other accountable, which is great.
Were you always destined to be a tennis player?
Well, I think I'd like to say yes.
Yeah.
Just growing up in the environment where Dad was the head coach at the head pro at the local club, and so he was always coaching, and the only time I got to see him is when I was at tennis practice, pretty much. So I was like. So, and with that, I was just practicing a lot and always hanging around the tennis club. So from a young age, from 3, 4, 5, so I was just always around the tennis club. So I played a few other sports growing up, but I was always the best at tennis, so I just pursued that.
When you were practicing and you were around your dad like that, I feel like you have such a relationship with tennis where, as a kid, you were around tennis because you wanted to be around your dad, and now you get to be around tennis and your dad gets to be, how strong is that connection between those two things in your life?
Yeah, I guess when you put it that way, very strong, in terms, I think, it's great. I never actually really thought about it like that, but it's always been, tennis and dad. That's always been a couple of things that go...
Two loves.
Yeah, go side and side. So, but even Dad's back in Australia right now, and with the rest of the fam and everyone. But he's watching every single one of my matches on the live stream and calling me after.
Is he still statting them when he's watching on the live stream?
Yeah, I think we have this. We got PlaySide installed actually in the facility, so that takes care of all the stats. But
so you're not telling me he doesn't still do it by himself?
He probably does. Yeah, he probably does.
I love this so much.
Yeah,
I would do the exact same thing.
Literally. But no, it's good. But even yesterday, I call him and he's on the golf course, and but he's just giving me some advice on what I need to work on my backhand because he can tell on him. So he's always dialed in a bit, but no, it's been a cool relationship with tennis and dad and all that sort of stuff.
Josh Charlton, the new program leader in combined wins, 184. Here's to 185, 86, 95, 200, whatever it's going to take.
Yeah.
Moving forward, but I did want to ask you a little bit about Coach Schielander. We talked about this briefly last time you were on the show with Quinn and with your doubles partner, but Coach is. He is one of the more competitive and funny guys that I have ever been around. Describe Coach, if you could, for us.
Oh, I think me and the lads, we chat about it a bit, and I think we're pretty lucky to have Coach Schielander, Coach Nils, as our head coach, because he's got a good mix between. He's a funny guy, he's a comedian, but very serious too, all business, so. Competitive animal, you watch him on the sidelines, and sometimes I'm thinking relax a bit, coach. I got it, let me take care of it. But no, he's a competitive animal, super nice guy. He'll do anything for you. He's helped me out an immense amount throughout my 5 years, and was lucky enough to recruit me to the University of Oregon, which I'm very grateful for still. So. But no, he's a comedian. He's a good guy. He's always talking about his big truck he's got these days and and whatnot. But
I'm familiar.
No, yeah, but he's a very nice guy.
I asked you this, I know a little bit, but I'm kind of curious if your overall thought has changed now a year later. Why'd you choose Oregon? And what has been some of the things that have really come true, I guess, confirmed why you chose Oregon in your 5 years?
Yeah, so when I was getting recruited, Oregon was always at the top of my list in terms of, schools that reached out to me and that sort of thing, because I just love the professional culture here, I think, in terms of you look at any sport and every sport's not pushing to, make the tournament or settle. No one's trying to settle. Everyone's trying to be the best in the country. And even if the programs that aren't there, that's still an achievable goal, I think, which is pretty unique. And I think I just wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to I wanted to sit in HDC and have breakfast next to Herbert and Sabrina and those type of and not to mention a lot of the track and field athletes who are competing in the Olympics and that sort of thing, pushing for medals, which is pretty unique environment, and I don't think a lot of schools would have that. So I just wanted to be, I looked at a lot of players, looked at like Thomas Laron as well, and I was like, well, if this guy can do it, why not me, So I just really liked the environment and obviously the resources and the facilities, and I liked Coach Nils and Coach Spence as well. So it was a sort of perfect fit for me.
We talked about you as a teammate in just tennis. What about you as a teammate for the entire athletic department? Like, how much in your career have you gained from people in other sports, and how much have you helped people in other sports? You talking about that crossover of different sports.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty cool. Just I'm not sure if I've helped anyone, but I just know being around other great athletes and seeing their results just automatically pushes you, because you see, just as an athlete, a competitive athlete, you want to be doing the best, I think. So like if I see, I don't know if this is just unique to me, but if I see someone doing well in any other sport, like I'm thinking I got to step up my game, because I want to be doing the best, So I think it's just everyone's pushing each other, and I think that helps. So
rising tide rises all boats.
Exactly, perfect.
Lastly, for Josh Charlton, we'll have you on again, I think, because I could tell that you could just sit in my chair and just do the show, and that would be a spectacular program. What's next for you? The season's still ahead. You guys are at home on Thursday at noon, and then hitting the road to the Great Purple North, as I call it, up in Seattle. So it's a big week for your team, but also just for you, rest of the season. And then what do you want to do after you're done at the U of O? Keep playing tennis until your arm falls off, I imagine.
Yeah, exactly. I love playing tennis. Like I love everything about it, So I think I've always said, like, the day I wake up and I don't enjoy going to practice or doing whatever, like, will be the day I stop playing, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. So I want to I want to pursue tennis and take it as far as I can. I think I believe in myself, and I think I've got what it takes. So. But it's not easy. You need a lot of things to go your way, and the tough thing about tennis is, as you said, once I leave Oregon, I'll be back to working on my own, and I'll have a small little team around me. But it's a lot of travel. I'm going different continents every month almost. So it's definitely a grind, and but I look forward to the challenge. And I've actually got girlfriend in San Francisco as well. So I'll be hopefully there a lot and seeing her and that sort of thing, but also traveling and just pursuing it and seeing if I've got what it takes at the end of the day.
Well, here's to many more victories, both collegiately and beyond. And thanks for being a Duck.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Josh Charlton, new career leader, 184 combined victories. Like I said, 194, 204, 214.
Yeah, let's push it. Yeah. See how many we can get.
Do you even know how many matches you possibly could have left? It's got to be like 40 or 50, right?
Oh, it's got to be a few. It's got to be a fair few. And when it comes down to like the tournament, we'll it can be as many, until if we win the thing, So
go wild. Appreciate the time.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Congratulations again.
Thank you, mate.
When we come back, finishing up the show. That's it for a Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the drug facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the drug facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/drug facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
This is a great day on Duck Insider. Live student-athlete interviews are the best. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it. Awesome stuff. That's what makes this job, for me, so much fun. Like, Josh is in here last year. We do an entire, great 20-minute conversation with him and his doubles partner, and Quinn Vanica-Steele. I'll be honest, at that point, they had a lot of success. At that point last year, maybe more success than any doubles pair in Oregon men's tennis history. I didn't know where Josh was on the record list. And then he breaks that record this weekend, and I just go, well, this is amazing. Right? What an easy guy to root for, and I loved it. Meanwhile, men's golf at Eugene Country Club, they were in front by 7 strokes heading in to today. We'll have more updates for you tomorrow from ECC as the Ducks are still out there competing at the Duck Invitational. Tune in for the McDonald's All-American games today. Mookie Cook and Kwame Evans Jr., incoming Ducks, are in the McDonald's All-American game at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. And incoming freshman Sophia Bell is in the McDonald's All-American game today on ESPN2 at 3:30. Now, I did want to spend a little time on Tanner Smith. Dude. All-time hits record for consecutive games with a home run, modern era record for career home runs, and he's breaking records set by guys like Gabe Matthews, Kenyon Yovan. These are some of the best Ducks we've ever seen, and Tanner's climbing these lists. So cool. More on that tomorrow. See you then.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But